The performing arts, the entertainment industry, show business. Whatever you choose to call it, to me, it seems like a rather strange way to spend a finite amount of time that we call life. I mean, think about it. All the stress and nerves and anxiety of trying to get that dream role or job. An artist will hear the word no so many more times than the word yes. Sometimes it really takes its toll on your emotional, mental, and physical health. But so many of us want to do this. Many of us already are, and I need to know why. Hi, I'm Amy Coots, and I'm an actor, hypnotherapist, and the founder of Acting with Courage Hypnotherapy. And in this series, I will be interviewing some fantastic actors, writers, directors, producers, anyone involved in the creative arts. And I will be asking them how and why they got into their respective careers and the advice that they offer to other creatives to look after their mental health and well-being.
And my guest today is, I have to say, kind of hard to introduce because she wears many hats and is rather multi-talented. Originally from Brazil, Izabel Florence relocated to London at the tender age of 18 to study acting and community theatre, and later a master's in integral movement and performance practice. Since then, she has worked as a performer, stage manager, yoga teacher, translator, and the list goes on. Most notably, she currently runs her business Perceptions Warehouse, which will be a large part of our discussion today. So hello, Izabel. How are you today?
Hi. Thank you for having me. I'm really good. Thank you. How are you?
Very well, very well. Very excited to be talking to you. So thank you so much for your time. It seems like a lot of work and a lot of effort. Why do you do all these things?
Well, I started wanting to be an actor. I thought that was what I wanted to do, but with time I realized a lot of my want and need, everything that gave me happiness, was to work with the community and help people somehow. And I love the arts, so I love being involved in it. So I went into being a stage manager for a really long time and working with artists. And then I created a theatre festival with a friend of mine in Italy, and we've done a few years there. And I realized that I loved helping people, especially artists, because coming from that profession, I can understand how difficult it can be in the society of now, where you don't have the support that you want, and people need to create their own work. People need to be self-employed and do a 1,000 jobs at the same time, rather than just focusing on their talent, their career.
I think you might have heard the term, I just heard it recently, multi-hyphenate seems to be the way of the present and possibly the way of the future for a lot of people, and a lot of kind of combining of different skills and careers, which obviously can have its positives because you get to be more than one thing, but can also be very time consuming to juggle that as well. Yeah.
So creating Perceptions, the goal was to, first of all, create an urban community, because London can be quite a solitary place for creative people. So I think building that community of people who will support each other and, be together while they are creative and build their work is important, as well as looking at the artists in a holistic way, rather than just looking at someone as separate, their art being separate from themselves, because I don't believe it is. I think creativity is so interconnected with subconscious thoughts and feelings. So it's all very sensitive and precious. So I think looking at the artists in a more holistic way is another goal.
As you said, I mean, I think you said it perfectly, and you'd probably understand that being an expat first moving to London, many years ago, and myself being an expat more recently is, I'm always in awe of London when I go up there and I go, wow, I'm back in London. But then I go, oh God, London, it's so big. Yeah. It's so big. And I mean, you're in the West End and it feels really collective, but then there's sort of this weird feeling of, oh my God, like I feel really small and a little bit alone here.
Yes,
So I think something like Perceptions Warehouse is a wonderful initiative, to make people feel that in this very big urban sprawl, they can feel like they're part of something more intimate. When did you start the company? How long have you been running this?
July last year, so it's very new.
Oh.
It's like a little baby. And I, from the very beginning, I wasn't sure where it was going to take me. I knew what I wanted to do with it, but I didn't know the practicalities of how I was going to do everything that I wanted to do. And I'm still finding everything out. And I think that's really important, to be able to trust that the company will organically become what it needs to become. I don't want to force anything. So we started with rehearsal space. Now it's very much networking events, which I think I'm going to focus on for a really long time. But at some point, I want to have a specific, a solid space to for artists to be able to go and feel more at home, and have, workshops and yoga classes, meditation, and networking events.
You said, having had the opportunity to get an education and work in the industry you love, your goal in life has become to provide support to those who are not in the same position. Who do you see as those people that are not in the same position? Like, who do you think you're representing here?
I'm trying to look at every part of society and look at the people that are not being represented and not supported as much as they should be.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the events that we run is Queer Voices, which is for the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm.
It's become a very, very beautiful, safe space for people to share something very hard for them, and things in their life that has really affected them, and things that they haven't found a safe space to share. So that's one part of society that I want to focus and cherish. Mm-hmm. Another one is people struggling with mental health, also because I think nowadays it's such a big issue, because we're on our phone, we're not in the present, we're not with nature. It's all very in the surface. We're not really dealing with our deep emotions. We're not really connecting in a deeper way. So I think it's a massive issue. And I also work with charities and run workshops with charities. So, for example, I work with Bedford Housing Association, and we run workshops on body language for job interviews for people who have come from homelessness and are getting on their feet and slowly trying to find work. So I think there's so many people in the world that need help. It's just about finding them and asking them what they need, and trying to do something about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That is really, really impressive. And it's interesting you touched on the point of not feeling grounded and not connected to nature. And it's sort of this weird thing that I've been thinking about and talking to lots of people about recently is, we've got these phones and we've got all these social media apps, and whilst they can be so beneficial, I mean, right now, we're recording something that's going to go across social media and YouTube and all that stuff. So it has its wonderful, ability to kind of get messages out there. But it can also kind of create that weird isolation. And I'm seeing on Twitter a lot at the moment, and I guess maybe it always existed, but now it's becoming more pervasive, is just seeing actors posting tweets, about how down they are. I saw one yesterday with a young guy who was saying, I haven't had an audition in 5 months and I don't know what to do and I'm feeling really down. And that just really got to my heart. Like, it really, these things are really starting to affect me, reading more people saying these things, like they feel hopeless. And so it's this interesting sort of, it's this weird little pain machine at times of what you're seeing on there. And there's sort of the comparison and people presenting certain aspects of their lives, but it's also created this forum for people to go, hey, I need help. And then a lot of the time you will see people, for all the negativity that can come up in a space like Twitter and places like that, you're seeing people jumping on there going, hey man, it's okay. Or, I mean,
Yeah.
I was one of them. I said to this guy, oh, like, please don't, please don't feel down. And yeah, so it's,
yeah, it's important to look at the bright side of technology and
yeah.
this connection that we have created with the whole world. I mean, it's
Mm.
incredible that we can communicate in such a quick way and so organically and yeah, it's incredible. And there's groups on Facebook nowadays where
Mm.
support each other, and it's important to look at the bright side, I guess.
Now, is it true that you have a royal title?
It's not a royal title.
What is it about?
It's a fellowship for the
Uh-huh.
Royal Society of Arts.
Uh-huh.
So I was offered it at the end of last year for the work that I've been doing with perceptions of the work with charity and queer voices. So yeah,
Fabulous. Yeah.
pretty
So,
cool.
so what does that, I'm a bit vague as to what that means. Do you get funding? Is it sponsorship?
I don't get funding. I get a network of people who are influencers of society from different ways. So people who are trying to make a change somehow. So you get a network of people. You also get a space that you can go and work at, and events, and there's always networking between people from the society. So it's really great.
Wow. I just want to go back a step to when you had the idea for Perceptions Warehouse and you were trying to get that all set up. Did you have any moments of doubt or challenges when you were trying to put that together? Do you want to talk a bit more about that?
So many moments.
Sure.
I think it's before you create something, it's a journey. It's a massive journey, and I went through a journey of ups and downs, and it's a creative process. So you're trying to look at creating a logo, creating a name. What does it mean? What is it that you're trying to portray? How are you going to do all those things? At the end of the day, it's the important thing for me is to trust and to work hard. So with every event, in the very beginning, I would get very nervous, and that energy comes out in every event. Whatever I'm creating, the energy that I have is going to be built and surround the event, whatever it is. So if I can trust that whatever is going to come to me, whatever it's going to be, it's beneficial, because if something goes wrong, I'm going to learn from it. And if I can work as hard as I can before the event happens, then at the day, I can be peaceful and present and helpful to everyone. And whatever challenges come to me, I feel like I can deal with anything, because I'm in a different space of mind. And I think all of that comes from my training with yoga and philosophy of the Eastern mindset, rather than Western kind of be busy all the time, work hard and expect something perfect, because I shouldn't, because it won't be. And that's the beauty of it, is that I'm going to learn from it.
It's that commitment to the preparation beforehand that sort of builds that confidence.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, again, is a principle for performance too. Like, if you just prepare and work that thing, when you get there on the day, like, you can take confidence in despite the nervous energy that will come up, you can channel that into the knowing that you've done enough to get that happening.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm going to turn more specifically back to mental health aspect things. So as you know, I'm an actor and hypnotherapist. I'm coming to speak at one of your events, which is super exciting for me to do. Could you share any mental health rituals that you have, or any advice to other performers that you can offer to help them?
It's very interesting, because a few years ago I started to change my mindset towards life completely, and I feel that has made me accept happiness. I think it's sometimes difficult to accept it, but there's a lot of guilt behind it, and a lot of expectations and feelings of trying to hold it in as well, rather than just let it be.
Where do you think that comes from, if you don't mind me interrupting, that feeling of, oh, can I allow myself to be happy? What do you think that's about?
I think it has a lot to do with the fact that when we look around us, there's so many issues, there's so many problems. There's a lot of people suffering. So it's hard to say there's someone out there outside, across the road, who doesn't have a house, who doesn't have clean water, who doesn't have heat, is sleeping in the streets and is suffering, and I'm going to allow myself to be happy while all of this is happening, while people are starving in the world. You know, it's a strong feeling that kind of fights within you. But I think it's so important to find that happiness yourself to be able to change other people's lives. There's many things. I mean, there's a lot of gratitude. I practice gratitude every day. When I wake up, I just list things that I'm grateful for in my mind. I do a lot of meditation. I do a lot of exercises during the day to be present and feel grateful, and just see the beauty in life. You know, you're walking down the street and you see a little plant in the floor coming out of the concrete, and you think, wow, isn't this gorgeous? You know, look at this beautiful nature that we have around, and all the incredible things that we've been giving, and the incredible body that we've been giving, the incredible creativity and mind that we've been given. It's just, I'm fascinated by life, and it just gives me so much joy every day. It's important as well to separate yourself from your thoughts and take a step back. When you start to get angry about a small thing, you know, you look at your mind and you say, oh, you're getting angry. That's interesting. Why are you getting angry about this thing? It's so minute. It's so small. Someone's walking slowly in front of you. Why is that going to affect my life? I don't want it to affect it in a bad way. So I'll just smile, take a breath, and everything will be fine.
If hypnotherapy has taught me anything, is that sometimes we become such a slave to our thoughts, or particularly thoughts that we've held, or beliefs that we've held for years and years and years. And then they're looking for the evidence of that, but to then actually go, what if I challenge that thought? Or what if I just step back for a second, like you said, and take a minute, you know? I mean, I think, again, with social media as well, is that moment of think before you tweet, or take a moment to think what would be the ramifications of sharing this thought or acting on this thought in a way that could be negative or harmful, like by shouting at that person or whatever it could be, when it just sort of creates this greater beast that sort of doesn't really need to be unleashed into the world. All right, so Izabel, what is coming up for you and Perceptions Warehouse? I believe you have a rather big event coming up.
So we have Nourished Mind on the 26th, which is really exciting. That is the full focus right now. Queer Voices is happening again in October. We're going to release the date next week. And other projects, you know, it's really interesting when you feel like you're in the path that you should be. You start connecting with a lot of people that are in the same mindset, and I have found that, and it's really exciting. There's lots of new projects coming in. There's another event that I'm looking to create, which is about empowering women.
Fabulous.
Which I think is really, really, really important to do nowadays. But yeah, lots of new exciting things coming up.
Excellent. So very busy period for you. Excellent. All right. So I will be sharing the links so people can find out more about Perceptions Warehouse generally, and also Nourished Mind event that is coming up, about tickets and all that sort of thing.
Great.
Isabel, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
It's been a lovely chat. I could chat.
Yeah, we could go on.
We could go on and on forever. Yeah, exactly. But I appreciate that your time is precious, and thank you for sharing.
Thank you so much for watching this. And if you'd like to see more videos in this series, please remember to subscribe to Why This.